Ideality can want to pick Ursa.
Ursa.
CIS Ursa.
CIS Ursa. Well, we've got it locked in. The draft is there. Do we feel like there is a clear draft favored here? Then I'll start with you, Blitz. Just to be quick.
I think that VP should be able to Roshan at a pretty reasonable pace. I feel like Ursa was a little bit out of left field, but I think they can push the map a little bit further than LFY can. So I'm going to go with VP for game 1.
Okay, VP for game 1.
VP.
VP.
LFY.
What a surprise. And 1 for LFY as well. All right then, Key Arena, let's make some noise as we welcome our casters and celebrate the start of another battle. This time it's LFY versus Virtus Pro. Let's raise the decibel levels. It's your casters.
I could definitely help with the decibel rating. We are going to go up already. Virtus Pro have taken out one LGD team, but now they face up against the Forever Young team, the team who looked amazing through group stage, 2-0 through the quarterfinals. What's in store for us this game, Sin?
Oh, there's a lot of things to talk about. This is a matchup I was looking forward to a lot. It's probably my favorite game of the day. Virtus Pro looked really scary against LGD, and LFY has been my tournament favorite after we saw the groups play out. Just the way they played, they really were extremely impressive. So what I was thinking going into this matchup was, okay, how did VP beat LGD? They played really fast, really aggressive, took advantage of the slow build-up time that LGD had as a team, and I thought maybe VP are going to bring the same to the table here. LFY is a team that has a tendency of losing their lanes a bit and then playing a strong mid-game. And maybe VP would just come rushing at them in the laning stage. It looks like that's some of the idea they have here with this Darkseer plus melee cores, that they just want to fight, 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 like we saw IG do earlier in one of the games against Newbie. And LFY have more of their standard stuff here. So yeah, it's going to be a really interesting game. I think it's a hard one to call. Sumail rightfully pointed out, this is an incredible Morphling game. So Virtus Pro are maybe on a bit of a clock.
Yeah, and that's where they look to see the timing of the Ursa. But you were talking about, like, you rush them in the laning phase. Virtus Pro, as well as FY, have these heroes that kind of maybe want to wait a little bit longer. So maybe the battle will be happening a little bit later, but Virtus Pro can help step that up by running this aggressive kind of lane. Afu, very wisely moving away. He has an Observer and a Sentry he's looking to try and plant out. But Ramses, Lil, and Solo are all grouping up around this top, and it looks like they are going to come over to try and contest up LFY's rune. If the Morphling is a great game for him, shut down his lane. 3 heroes will come up to contest it, and they will be successful at doing it. So 3 bounty runes go the way of Virtus Pro at the start.
Something to note, by the way, that happened during the draft was that Virtus Pro, for the longest time possible, as it looked, had no one on the Darkseer and Pasha on the Void. And it may have tricked LFY a little bit and given them a little less time to prepare, and then they swapped later on and, of course, put Pasha on his signature Darkseer. Since Pasha plays both heroes, maybe they would have believed that, okay, maybe no one also plays Darkseer. We haven't really seen it run. Maybe they would put it mid against Death Prophet. Not the case. It is the standard Void mid for no one that he has played before in this tournament. And as for Super, he's playing on one of his absolute best heroes, Death Prophet.
This seems like such a hard lane for either team to gank up. No one's got Time Walk to get away. Super, he'll need his level 2 for it, but the Spirit Siphon can be there for the Death Prophet. So difficult to gank, but it's not stopping Lil from being more of a nuisance. Both teams, the panel talking about this earlier in the day, how many couriers have we actually seen sniped out? We got a lane camera up right now to check out all the lanes, but at this rate, at the very start, you may as well have courier cams both going at the same time. But Lil rotating in towards mid, he won't find Super.
Hello.
He'll give up the fight. The second he shows himself, the courier will leave the base, is coming with the salve.
A little bit of harass here, but Super's not going to be too phased by this.
Oh, wow. Actually, top lane, Tidehunter, you're really low. Ramses, where's that rolling boulder forward? Space, it's not created enough. Solo, it'll actually be the kill for him. Ramses still wants to damage into Afu. Solo doesn't actually have the range anymore to stand underneath that tier 1 tower, but Virtus Pro getting up in the face of LFY's safe lane successfully.
I'd say this is one of Ramsey's best heroes, and perhaps relative to like the rest of the competitive field, his standout hero is the Ursa. It's become a Virtus Pro classic to run, and whenever they identify that there's a very good lane matchup for Ramses, they're not scared of picking up this Ursa. And that is one of the absolute best heroes you can have in lane against Tidehunter. This lane sucks, man. It's really, really weak LFY safe lane, and as mentioned before, maybe that's the way you approach this team, is that you try to beat them out very hard in lane, and then in addition to that, in this game, VP have doubled down on teamfight, so they can also like progress from that laning stage into beating LFY at their game later, which in my opinion has been the standout playstyle for LFY, is these team fights past minute 15 where they just play incredibly around each other. But if there's enough team fight on the enemy team, it's not that easy.
And regeneration room for no one. His sustain in the mid lane's fantastic against Super. And you're talking about this aggressive lane, like VP can start the rotations. Is there a way that LFY can move earlier? We've currently committed DDC with Monet on this bottom lane to try and battle against Pasha, but they're not really intimidating him much. It seems to be more of just a straight up farm lane. Is this really the way LFY's lane should work out?
I don't really think they have that many heroes that are good against Darkseer early on. He's going to have a good game here, Pasha. And LFY are probably just thinking more about how do we enable our Morphling and DP as much as possible, and then Tide will be a sacrifice in this game. They can't have all three lanes go well with the heroes that they're facing, so they got to take what they can get. Top lane again now, Ramses.
Yeah, look at him open up. Afu creates a little bit of space with a rock kick, but it's so hard to walk away that Upheaval is making it impossible. Ramses' damage output is lower thanks to the anchor smash, but Lil does not care when Burrow Strike is available. 2-0 start to Virtus Pro, exactly where they wanted to be with 1k up lead.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really difficult for Inflame to have a game here. I'm curious if they just decide at some point, you know what, we don't even bother. Like, leave this lane dead and try to focus on somewhere else. But that's kind of part of the genius of this mid lane Faceless Void, is that that's a really bad hero for Earthspirit to try to gank. Sure, they can try to connect it with the DP Sounds, but there's no way they're going to kill this guy.
And then you want to run the Darkseer. Pasha just sits back behind the tower and spams out Iron Shells defensively, wasting more time.
It's very difficult for LFY to find openings, so I think they're just going to need to try to farm as much as they can DDC, trying to snipe some creeps there. He got one. I'll take the bounty rune at least, and also see that the bottom rune is invisibility. This could be an opening perhaps, but again, where does he go? Maybe he takes this one and TP's top and they try to connect? Nope, it's actually Earthspirit TPing back to base.
It's like, if they could pressure mid, but like they can't really even do that until they have a silence available, and that's not something that Super wants to really skill up. He's gone for a 2-0-3, and more than likely wants to have Exorcism at 6.
Well, we're going to see what he chooses to do. We have seen Silent skill fairly early in some situations.
Maybe they go bottom lane. That is where they're headed, but Lil,
that's
maybe
their
feeling this rotation already, moving over. Pasha getting aggressive onto Monet. Pasha still keeping that burn going. DDC reveals himself to pick up and throw down with the waveform. They have the damage output. Lil will get the Burrow Strike as Morphling. Strength morphs up and has 4 1 charges to live. So he will be fine.
Nice bait from Monet. It's one of those moments as the Darkseer, you're like, how stupid is he? Is he really doing this? Like, I'm having a great time trading with this guy. I have Iron Shell on myself, and Lil is coming in. That's why this worked so well, was that Lil actually wanted to go for the kill down there, so they really wanted to bait themselves. And it's about who are the better baiters, and that was LFY in this instance. They get that kill.
Yep. That helps them just repair a little bit of the gold advantage that Virtus Pro's picked up. It's now taken the aggression off the Tide Hunter, so more space for that off lane. Or I should say safe lane of LFY.
There's going to be some swap around here. They'll pit the Ursa against Morphling. That is also, I would say, a pretty good lane matchup for the Ursa until Morphling is very strong, but that's not the case at all yet.
They can also feel confident about their other lanes. The fact that no one's running the mid means you've got a Chronosphere very early on. So if LFY want to pressure bottom lane, if they want to pressure Ramses, it won't take that much to bring in the Faceless Void, and vice versa. You can't. How can you kill the mid when you got Chronosphere and a level 3 Time Walk available? It really is not possible. But Afu, he'll start with a kick onto Ramses, pick up Telekinesis, no TP support coming in just yet. Now it's on the way. It's the Faceless Void we're talking about. The lead forward, a 3-man Chrono, but he's already lost Ramses. Support's not there. Warlock is on his way, trying to focus onto DDC, and let's get something, but no one is a 1-on-3 matchup. Solo will come in, gives the Shadow Word, as well as the slow. Upheaval is down. So Monet doesn't want to use waveform. Lil's coming in with Lil and Lil looking for DDC. They'll surround him on 3 sides. The kick comes forward, only connects on the illusion. Solo moving forward as well. Needs to keep his distance. Now it's Lil who's very low. The Sand King will fall. DDC trying to run back to the tower. The illusions are going to break off the attack. They're coming down towards Afu, but Monet's not done just yet. Going after no one. He's got the Shadow Word for regeneration, but this SK illusion, it finds Afu, but still on 40 HP. That is enough to stay alive as the Earth Spirit.
Yeah, the Fairy Fire stays alive because of that on that Earth Spirit. It's an item we don't really see used that much anymore, but it has its moments just like that one. Earth Spirit is one of the better heroes to use Fairy Fire because it very naturally commits in and wants to trade for as long as possible. And then just at the end of that, when he was about to die, he does have that ace up his sleeve to get out of there. Very nice plays here overall from LFY, forcing that rotation from Void, getting a 0 impact chrono. They got half a tower mid with Death Prophet ultimate at the same time, and they freed up their Tidehunter up top, who is now going to be able to play some Dota soon. We'll be looking forward to that. Gets a Soul Ring, so farming is now secured for him.
And also his level 6, the other big team fight controller. You can talk about the Faceless Void having the Chronosphere for no one. He needs a follow-up. The other counterpart to kind of make VP's combination work a little bit better is levels onto Solo. He's on this bottom lane now, sitting down here with Ramses, but both of them don't have that level 6. You don't have Enrage, you don't have the Rock Drop.
It will be coming in due time. The hero of VP to always look out for in these games. I think Pasha is a... Oh, wait a second, bottom lane?
Yeah, they're pushing him back behind the tower. Solo's still nearby, but he doesn't have a lot of mana to work with.
I wanna keep an eye on Pasha in this game as well. I think he is outstanding on Darkseer, and the reason Virtus.pro plays so well with this hero is they're very, very good at combining their spell casting in all of their games. And Darkseer is one of those heroes that really allows your lineup to really gravitate toward one point and take a very, very nice fight together. So I've seen this hero banned against Virtus.pro for the last few months in most of their games, and they're very happy to grab it for Pasha in this situation. Getting good levels and good farm on this hero is generally a good indication that Virtus.pro are in a position to, at the very least, take fights later. The question is if they can win them, but they'll definitely be able to take them whenever they want.
And you see LFY's reaction with their vision. You're talking about VP taking a great fight. It's the vision game from LFY. The Observe Ward is sitting on the Radiant high ground side of mid lane. It saw the rotation of Lil running under that haste rune. Same with the Observe Ward just south of that bottom rune area. LFY are able to read where VP's movements are, and they're giving them no option to fight. And if there is an option to fight, LFY will come in with the numbers. And they're doing it again. Super, the numbers are here. Bottom lane, Exorcism is up. Super is looking for some good damage towards the tower, doing it with the Morphling. There's one way to do it, and Solo's not ready to fight this. He's got level 2 upheaval. He can at least slow down LFY. Super, he's backing out now. There's the upheaval. A little bit of a slow. Bar's trying to go to work. Ramsey just going to try and slice and dice, but Lil, so much damage from Monet. Waving forward, Ramsey, he's too injured. The Chronosphere, he'll create space. Shadow Word on the Ramsey. He's getting his life back right now, but Chronosphere's been expended, and VP have no other choice but to run away. Monet has himself a waveform, but VP have already left the bottom tier 1 tower, and they don't want a bar of this.
This tower is difficult to defend. I think this is case in point. Also, in addition to that, you know, the Ravage is available. Darkseer, I was saying, is going to allow them to fight whenever they want. This is still maybe a little bit too early. You want to have Vacuum and the point wall, so they still need a little bit of build-up time. I didn't think we were going to see them attempt to take a fight this early on, and LFY are taking full advantage of this little spike they have. So for Virtus.pro, the challenge here is buy enough time to get Darkseer's levels, get that mechanism up and running, and get Warlock level 6, and then this kind of fight is one they're definitely going to be able to take. But VP supports. This is pretty unusual for them. Both of them are only sitting on level 4 here at 10 minutes. There will be a Tome, of course. Guessing it goes to Solo, arguably more important than getting the levels on the Sand King.
They need that rock. If you are gonna play it around the Darkseer, you're gonna need that rock. It's also when Ramses wants to try and push forward. We can look towards Roshan as a primary thing. They are running the Ursa Warrior, so it goes hand in hand. It'll be a priority target for Virtus.pro. But so far, it's LFY who are adding the force. They're coming down to the mid lane. Only a half HP tower with a catapult wave, and even DDC having the end of a double damage rune. Okay, a little bit harder to getting close. Solo is just sitting with the level 2 up. He will hit the tower. Well, finally,
if you've never played this game before and you're wondering what that red ring on the ground is, it's annoying. That's what it is. It's really annoying.
The new name of the ability.
Yeah.
I would say it's upheaval, but it's more up something else.
It's currently sitting on level 2 annoying. And there goes the tower to LFY.
Yep.
Keeping the pressure on. And very good read on this game from them so far. I think they're playing.
Oh, rolling boulder. It goes forward. They're kicking Solo back at quick styles. He's still got the Shadow Word on top of himself, and the pickup from Rubik. DDC gonna pull him in and drop him down. You have Exorcism off cooldown in 5 seconds time. You still have Tidehunter Ravage, and with no chrono for 13 seconds, LFY could have forced the issue, but instead they'll back out.
There's so much space being created for the Morphling this way as well. The hero is not particularly strong in lane against a lot of matchups, but LFY managed to secure him the farm in the off lane first, and then they've been moving him around, and they've been playing around him for kills. He's 2-0-2. Oftentimes we see Morphling be involved in absolutely nothing for the first 20 minutes, but this is something I think LFY is very, very good at, is using every player in the game. They have some games where it's impossible, like where the hero is just too weak, but if they have any sort of strength, they try to draw as much as possible out of every player. And now they're just going to claim themselves another tower. VP actually might want to try this time around.
There's that first TP coming in, faces Void. He is waiting. It's actually Ramsey's coming in first. 3 swipes into Monet, 1 chance will repair all of that damage. And now, here's your Chronosphere, catching 3, Super on the edge of it, the Burrow Strike forward, the Rock will drop, and the Fatal Bonds connecting up LFY, 3 heroes caught inside of it, they're already killed off the Rubik, Monet, they're trying to run out, but again, it is unfair advantage when the slow is just making it impossible to run away. Tidehunter crippled and brought down the top lane, LFY lose 3, and Virtus Pro, they now turn their attention towards Roshan, but Monet, he's walking in front of the pit. But VP will still be fine. They're going to keep going at this.
That's that first team fight for Virtus Pro that was so important to be successful, and they pull it off very nicely there with a Freight Chrono into Golem.
Well, he's in the neighborhood. Monet's there. They're going to pick up from DDC. They'll drop him down. Roshan almost down, is down now. Ramses has the Aegis, the Immortal. But do you want this fight? You don't have Rock available, so really the answer is no. A Burrow Strike, which was stolen from DDC, cancels the TP out from Pasha. He'll end up dying. He has the mech and the headdress, but still short of the mech. Sorry, he has the buckler and the headdress. Needs a little bit more.
Another 700 to go, but this was two very good minutes for Virtus Pro. They end up having a couple casualties there, but I think they're happy overall, getting the team fight first and then the Aegis. Sitting with that on Ursa, closing in on Blink Dagger is going to allow them to play the style that they really like. I think Ramses as a player has a lot of faith in his team. He trusts them a lot when he's given the Aegis, not scared of just going in extremely aggressively and burning that Aegis to set up his teammates. So Blink Dagger will definitely be preparing Virtus Pro for their next fight. Now he has about 3 minutes to get that realistically to have the fight with the Aegis as well, and that's just a 200 GPM, should be absolutely no problem for him to get that in time to use it with the Aegis.
Yeah, and they're actually giving him all of the jungle. They'll give him the Ancients as well. So there is the space for him to find that. And they are starting to pump out more and more damage. Virtus Pro, double Mask of Madness. It's a little bit more of a riskier thing to do, but you got a Faceless Void and an Ursa who are holding onto these 2 items. And LFY, well, maybe they can stop Ramses. That Observer Ward's watching him regenerate up all of the mana. They'll know he's farming, and that's what they're here to stop. The smoke can break on Arfu. They realize that Ramses will be to the north, and Ramses, can he get himself away? The kick comes through. You commit the excess of TP supports coming in. It's the Faceless Void. There's no Chrono. There's no Rock just yet. And is this a call to let Ursa die? Aegis Immortal is gone. Pasha's nearby. Lil coming over from the left side. Burrow strikes off the Espirits. There's no quick kick, and the upheaval slowing down Super. Exorcism is still only halfway through his duration. Tide comes in as well. They rolling boulder forward. Solo forced to run away now. The Magnetizer's turned on. Faceless Void still here. Chronosphere is up. The Burrow Strike from Lil may as well bigger Ravage onto Lil and Super, keeping them out of this fight. Now the Ravage will pop. Faceless Void, silence up and can't do anything. He'll fall before the Chrono is able to be expended. 40 seconds on the sideline with no buyback. And they burn the Aegis the Immortal. A perfect fight for LFY.
Yeah, they didn't want to give Ramses the chance to get prepared with the Blink Dagger. Just immediately, you'll see very few teams in this tournament do this. The Aegis just went the other way. They're like, we don't care. You know, see him on a ward. They see that the Shrine gets used, which is very good information for them to take the fight in this area. VP can't really retreat up to the Shrine and get an advantage. So LFY, by coming from the high ground around this camp that the Ursa is farming, already have the natural positioning advantage. And then when VP try to respond, they're just not ready yet.
Yeah, we can see that fight once more. This is when it was really kicking off in the mid lane. That silence, the follow-up Ravage, there was just nothing the Faceless Void can do.
So I'm imagining VP will try to go back the other way. Just now they have all of their spells ready now. Finally, Darkseer levels up the wall at level 11. They have Chrono, they have the Chaotic Offering prepared as well. Lil still 300 short of the Blink Dagger and doesn't have Epicenter skilled yet, so maybe that's something we're waiting for, but he showed himself for a moment.
So smart from Lil, he understood he was going to be attacked, and this is LFY who have understood the item timings of Virtus Pro, their farm position they should be in, and who they have to pressure. It's the double Blink Daggers they're trying to stop. The one from Ursa, that one's already up, but now it's Lil, 100 gold away from completing it.
They're just playing very, very aggressively with what they have. Even the Morphling is joining for these moves, and now he's going to go top. That was the end of that. He still has a Replicant hanging around if they want to make a move somewhere. It's actually moving in toward mid.
Is that other timer?
To bait Ramses with. They actually got a Chrono in.
No one! He's literally hit nothing! rocket bait! And LFY, they have just dodged a huge thing. The Morphling was probably headed up north to try and dodge the combination of Virtus.pro. They had Chronosphere, they had the Chaotic Offering, they were looking for a fight. They wanted to pinpoint it around that tier 1 tower. And LFY, with one thing that was only made of water, have drowned the hopes of VP for that fight at least.
Yeah, he just bought them 2 minutes. That's the easiest way of looking at that.
Oh no, this is cruel. This is Mercy on replay.
Why are we getting a slow-mo of this?
Hey guys.
Just really slow-mo so you can really tell how he's hitting that illusion.
Yeah, you know that open wound that you can just pour salt into? That's basically what just happened there.
Oh man, that's rough.
Oh.
But what you need to do as Virtus.pro right now is that you need to realize, all right, mistakes happen. Don't get tilted basically from a move like this. It is frustrating. They were ready to fight, as you said. They wanted to take this opportunity. Now you need to not get into this mode of, all right, we still have to fight. We still have to fight.
Yep.
Your lineup is fine in 2 minutes as well. It's not the end of the world. You missed a core kill that could have been interesting and maybe given you a tower, but the same opportunity or a similar one will present itself soon, and that's what they need to get ready for. The Sand King Blink is now complete. He has the Epicenter available as well. We'll be getting his level 4 Burrow Strike, so peak timing for Virtus.pro's absolutely monstrous team fight is coming now.
Yeah.
The question is if they can land it into LFY's lineup.
It is one of those things too, the panel was talking about. The fact that VP have maybe gone a little bit over in for the team fight means they've always got something else up their sleeve. So Faceless Void misses the Chronosphere, but a Darkseer Vac into a big Burrow Strike is not something we're uncommon with during this TI. We've seen it many, many times. Then you got the Warlock Rock, and there's so much damage output which is still in the bank for Virtus.pro. Chronosphere or not, miss one of the abilities. As long as 2 or 3 of them connect, LFY can have a really, really hard time having the fight. For now, they're not going to be obliging Virtus.pro. LFY will be able to take that bottom tower. Exorcism is triggered. They are not going to fight into this. They want pick first or have that ulti down.
That is, mid lane. They find Ramses. There's a replicate.
Yeah, this one, it now turns into the real Monet. They actually wind up. And Ursa, the damage was quick, but not quick enough when DDC is there to hold him with a telekinesis.
I think maybe we haven't talked enough about the weaknesses of Virtus.pro's lineup. So they have excellent team fight, of course, but they're not that good at hitting buildings, and that means Ursa gets himself into awkward positions like this, trying to pressure lanes. And in addition to that, their skirmish power is very, very, like, it's Sand King centric. Until the Sand King had his Blink Dagger, it's difficult for Virtus.pro to find kills with like 2 heroes most of the time, unless they want to commit big ultimates. That's why they're looking for these big team fights. And LFY can just position themselves in a way where Morphling is pushing a lane. How are you going to kill Morphling with this lineup, like the Virtus.pro lineup? You need to commit 3 or 4 ultimates and be a lot of heroes there at the same time.
Oh. You are on the wrong side of the river. I know you had a mission while you were here. It's going to keep a little away with a vac from Pasha, pulling out through back in to the unbelievable slow of the upheaval. And he didn't even get an Observer Ward down, so he was just having a bit of a wander around, having a poke.
And then, that's Rage. Oh, he's just farming ancients.
Yeah.
So in addition to this ability of the Morphling to just split apart the map and make it difficult for Virtus.pro to find the fight, when they finally get something they want to fight, they always need to have Tidehunter in the back of their minds. I think this pick from LFY in this game, apart from the laning where he has a struggle against Ursa, is maybe a bit of a stroke of genius. Just the idea of, well, the enemy team has team fight. We get one team fighter who is just as much counter-initiate as he is initiate, so we can set the terms of the fight. If they want to go into our DP, they need to worry constantly that this Tidehunter can just flank with his mech and his Ravage and turn the fight around. Yep. So the conditions for VP to set up a good fight become a lot harder to find. And then there's just that clock. The Morphling is ticking all the time, so VP have to be getting a little bit stressed out, I think, about this map.
Now you're actually seeing their item builds, and maybe this is their way to deal with a Tidehunter. Tidehunter doesn't really have that big a mana pool. 225 mana for both Ravage as well as the mech out of a 776 mana pool. You're getting 2 Diffusal Blades being built. One on the Faceless Void, the other is on the Ursa. In fact, they're almost mirroring their builds apart from the fact that Void doesn't have a Blink Dagger just yet. It's
also an absolutely key item for their heroes to be able to stand a chance of killing Morphling. If they can burn his mana, he can't get the Morph off, and then a hero like Void will probably go both Diffusal and Manta here. It actually looks like no one has the BKB queued up, but I think he wants a Manta as well, so he can Chrono the Morphling and burn all that mana really fast. But for now, it's not going to be a possibility.
Roshan's up.
Yep. That is the next objective for sure for Virtus.pro. And I think LFY want to fight for it. They're not going to give this one for free, I believe.
Ramsey is jumping in. Right now, the Earth Spirit Replicant is sitting at the front of the pit. It's not seeing inside, but thanks to that Observer Ward from the Dire side, it sees the entire smoke of Virtus Pro. So LFY have all the information behind the lines. So they put Tide front lines, make sure he's visible. They are a little bit more grouped up and bringing Ancients along with them.
I got that.
Bashes on the Earth, so the Chronosphere is down. He'll split the fight up, and already the blinking from the Tide Hunter. Roshan, it was snatched. The Aegis Immortal into the hands of Monet. It's a huge, huge fight for LFY. If they can hold on to it, the epicenter. It's coming from Lil, combining with the Rock and the Fatal Bonds. But where is your follow-up damage? No one is already running away from this fight. The Rock created space and ends up being a 2-for-1 trade-off, but the Aegis Immortal is still in the hands of Monet.
Thanks, Roshan. Says Monet. I hope we get a replay of that. That's one of those heartbreaking moments for Ramses. Just like, you know what? Game doesn't like me today. Like, what are you going to do? He actually uses Enrage. He needs one more hit on the Roche, and then he gets bashed. I think we're going to see it here. So, there we go.
And Monet just looked
now he gets stunned. Very nicely played by Monet as well, getting that adaptive strike off to steal the Aegis and Cheese. He got both. And Ramses gets killed off as well. Committing that Enrage to try to finish off the Roshan means he has nothing defensive left in the tank. And VP combining all of those ultimates. What did they find? Did they find 2 support kills?
Yep.
I think that was it.
But the 2 support kills were done because of the Chronosphere that came from no one. He split the fight out, but the rest of LFY already got themselves into the perfect position. Now they're going for more. It's Solo, the man to create that space, who will have to sacrifice his life in the mid-river.
E-Blade is 200 gold away now from Monet. And there are targets in this game that die in that shotgun. He can one-shot the Warlock, unless he buys himself up a cloak, I think. The Sand King is very susceptible as well. They do have a couple of raindrops running. Maybe you can't take them from 100 to 0, but combining with any ally, I think they could kill any hero on the map. This is dangerous. Lil is trying to cut the wave mid. He might regret this. Has to blink away here. Got silenced, but didn't take damage.
It's there in time, actually dodging the kick. So Lil will fall while that was going on. Faceless Void just got soloed up the E-Blade. First pop was Monet picking off the mid of Virtus Pro. This has escalated very quickly for LFY. The Roshan, the only thing that keeps the golden experience a little bit intact after that was the fact that they did, Virtus Pro, get the kill onto Roshan, even if they didn't have the Aegis, the Immortal. And then everyone just backed up and started farming.
This situation that just happened reminded me of something I gave LFY a lot of praise for during the group stage, was that I think this team, better than anyone else in this tournament, are very good at allocating their resources correctly. They're sending the correct amount of heroes to the skirmishes or team fights that they need. When they pushed the tier 1 top earlier, Earth Spirit was still bottom. They felt like, we don't need this guy. We get more out of the map by keeping him somewhere else. This time, we send Morphling top. He will combat this Void while we go for the Sand King at the same time. And then when you play effectively around the map like that, you build a serious advantage in terms of numbers in a lot of situations. And you can just outmaneuver your opponents. LFY are playing really, really well this game. This tower's gone, and then we'll see what's next on the menu. Maybe they get the tier 2 mid as well. I mean, why not? They have the Aegis and Cheese on Morph. Who's going to stop this guy?
It's the last out of tower. And more towers they take outside the base, the more VP is restricted in the space they can farm. They're already falling well behind that highest net worth of 14.6k is the Morphling. The nearest on the Radiant side, look towards the Ursa, just shy the 11k, and then Warlock. Okay. It wasn't a straight up 1 kill with a double blast shotgun. He had to waveform it as well, but the job is done. Warlock is down for 23 seconds, and that's a window of opportunity. LFY want to jar open.
And they will keep Inflame far away on the right here. So he has Blink and Mech on Tide, and the only thing that's important to him is that he doesn't get Chrono. All right, maybe he doesn't care.
Jump straight in.
Hey, why not?
This is just too juicy. They're like, no one wants to go, but without the Warlock Fatal Bonds, they won't have enough damage split across LFY to kill them off. And I think it's something VP definitely understand. They're all grouped up. They want the Chrono before it's the time. Now the time is there, but you just lost the SK. Killed off. The Chrono is nice. Here comes your Rabbit. It creates more space back again. They hold him in position. The back rock, but GG is called from no one. They don't even let the fight end. It is done and dusted. LFY taking game 1 against Virtus Pro.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a flashback to a lot of the games we saw in the group stage.